The goal of the show is to help you break in and thrive in advertising, and we do that every single week by sharing the stories and advice of those rocking it on the other side. We also share advertising news you need to know in 60 seconds or less. That's over on our LinkedIn. Go follow us there at Breaking Entering Media. It's unlike any other news you've ever seen before. 400 episodes ago, I interviewed Jack Rogosin. His original episode was number 41. We're well into the 400s, maybe by episode 500 by the time this airs. Jack Rogosin is one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. So I'm bringing him back to retell his story and give us updates on where he's at today. Today, he's at GSD&M. He records in the studio here in New York, but he usually lives in Austin as an ACD copywriter at GSD&M. His story is one of those that it stays top of mind. When people ask me, who are some of your favorite episodes? What should I listen to? I always say Jack Rogosin. So it's so great to have him back in the studio today. You're going to love it. Now on with the show. This is the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast. And as usual, I'm your accomplice, Gino Schellenberger. Kick it, Mikey. Jack Rogosin, welcome back to the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be back.
Oh, yeah.
And to re-record this with better audio and a whole setup.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We've both come a long way. What was your episode number? Like in the 30s, 40s?
I just re-listened to it and I couldn't tell you off rip. But it was definitely early on because I think it was like Audrey Nussbaum maybe connected us.
Yeah.
And she, I think, was still an intern at that point at FCB. So this is, I was definitely under 50. And now look at you guys. I mean, I see you guys are all over my feed.
Yeah, man. We're doing this thing full time. You met Jack and it's been great. You know, when I travel across the country, I'm talking to students. People often ask me, what is your favorite episode? I don't have one singular favorite, but I do list off like a few. And like Greg Hahn is obviously up there, and yours is always up there as well. Like your story resonated with me. It still resonates with me. I still tell everybody to go listen to it. It's one of the most listened to episodes because of that. And the audio was shit. The audio was so bad because it was just like on Google Meet when I first started. I probably didn't have Wi-Fi connected. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it looks a little bit better. It sounds a little bit better. And I'm just happy to have you back and learn about what you've been up to, retell your break-in story again because it was so fire. And yeah, that's really all I got for run a show here.
My God, I'm just excited. This is going to be awesome, man.
Hell yeah. So where are you at today? Where are you working today?
I am an associate creative director, copywriter at GSD&M, working on all things Capital One. Mm-hmm. So that's what I do all day, every day. I am on one client right now, and I'm just all in on specifically bringing social to life for them. So it's a 360 account, but me and my partner are doing all things social for them.
Who's your partner?
Will Hammock, awesome dude. He just started at GSD&M recently. And yeah, it's been really fun. I mean, I just really like GSD&M. I really like my boss there.
You like your boss?
Yeah.
You can tell me the truth.
No, I like you know how normally you're like, oh, this is my boss.
Yeah.
I actually really like my boss.
Why?
I think part of it is because I haven't figured him out. Maybe I'll figure him out and I'll be like, you know what, Ryan, I don't really fuck with this guy anymore. But I think I really admire the way he leads. He's just very clear on direction. He's open to there being a dialogue about work. He's not a dictator. Mm-hmm. And I think that even when you look at the large body of work that he's done and been a part of, he doesn't act like it. Like I've got more of an attitude than he does.
Yeah, like no ego. Like that's great. And so he is a CD or
he's
a
ECD or
he's
a group creative director.
GCD.
Yeah,
interesting. So then do you have then a CD above you? How does that?
So
work?
Yeah, on Capital One, they're kind of trying to find out, or at least at GSD&M, I should say, they're trying to find out what's going to be the best thing to best serve our clients. So we have a number of different creative director teams that all ladder up into to Ryan and Scott. Scott is Ryan's partner. They've been partnered for a long time. And then the social component of it goes directly into the GCD as well. So we'll oversee all things social, that are going out. And then Ryan and Scott are also just kind of, making sure that we're not just making sure that everything is running smoothly.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are who we directly report into.
Gotcha. And GSD&M, what are you doing in New York? Because isn't that an Austin-based
So
shop?
it's funny. My girlfriend is still here. I am in Austin. So it's been a lot
Wait,
of
what?
back and forth.
You don't live here?
No. Well, I mean, we still have the apartment, but no, I'm in Austin.
Oh, I was operating under the assumption that you lived here.
We have the apartment here. But no, I've been in Austin since when did January?
Okay.
So yeah, it's been really cool.
So you go from, how often you go to New York then?
The last few weeks has been more frequent. So I've been here. Well, my girlfriend had to get her appendix removed, so I was just here.
She good?
She's good. She's
Good.
great. She wasn't even using that thing anymore.
Yeah, screw that thing.
So no, I go back and forth a couple times a month, I'd say. So
A couple times a month. Is that
yeah.
for work or for just to keep your relationship
just
going?
to keep her happy, just to keep Marielle happy, and then we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been in Austin, and it's a really different ad scene.
Yeah.
It's like everything's bigger in Texas except the size of the advertising community.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, wow. Okay. So you go from Austin to New York pretty often. Do you work when you're here? Like, do you have meetings with the client at all? Or is it mainly just to,
No.
do you get to work from home? Like, work from anywhere? Is it chill?
GSD&M is a 3-day a week in the office agency.
Gotcha.
So when I'm here, it's for fun. It's, to see old friends. I honestly, I don't even really see too many ad people when I'm here. I feel like I save that for when I'm back in Chicago, which we
Okay.
also spend she's from Oak Park, so we're always in Chicago and,
Oh my
dropped in on
gosh.
Burnett and
Yeah.
people
yeah.
at FCB.
Yeah, I
and-
saw you walking around Havas. I was in a meeting and they're like, oh, that was Jack Rogosin wanted to see you, but you were in a meeting. I'm like, shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's when I dropped in on Shannon.
Yeah.
Oh my, how long was that?
That had been a couple years ago. And I'm like, let me know if Jack Rogosin is here because I will leave this meeting. I don't care what it's about. And I remember seeing you like a glimpse of you walking by. I was like, oh, there he is. So you got you're all over. You're the ad markets.
I love going to the different working. Even when I was at McCann, I was a fully remote employee, but the majority I worked on the Chevy account, which is based out of Detroit. And so I would be in New York one week and Detroit another. And I love being able to see how these different the micro ecosystem of advertising works.
Let's break it down.
It's just okay. So Austin, right? You've got some heavy hitting shops. You got Preacher. You've got Callan. You've got who else is McGarry Jesse. Bakery. Yeah, is it Bakery?
Yeah, with Mickey.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
So you got all these people here, but GSD&M was like the big dog in town for a long time.
Yeah.
And now I feel like there's a lot of big dogs. I mean, everyone is, got a piece of everything. So it's kind of interesting to go from this place where GSD&M is the closest thing to like a true legacy agency in the way that we might look at a McCann in New York or even like a BBDO in New York or a Burnett or DDB in Chicago. But it's also the pace of everything. It's so much chiller. It's
Really?
It's almost like California-esque.
Yeah, that's how I've worked with a couple Denver people. I feel like they're chiller too.
Yeah.
And they want to go outside and they have a life and it's sunny 300 days a year there and they're going to hike or ski and stuff. Like Buchin, our creative lead on this show, he's in Boulder now. And he has a life outside. And here in New York, there is really no life outside of work. It's for us at least, because we're doing the startup. But a lot of people, I look around, I look into other apartments, which might seem weird, but because everybody's so caved in, and you see people working till 9, 10 o'clock in their homes.
Yeah.
So they get home from work, they're still working. So then we know Austin's a little bit chiller, more fun. But you still get some of that legacy stuff. Then you've worked in New York, you've worked in Chicago, I believe. How do those compare? Do you have FOMO at all?
Oh, definitely. I think this is not cool to say, but I kind of miss the grind of it. What I love about GSD&M is that people care about the work. And I do think that is the single greatest factor in any agency that's making great work is the people that are working on it actually give a shit. There are aspects of the FCBs and those big agencies that a lot of people say are toxic, and they are, but I kind of miss it. It's a little fucked up, but I kind of miss, like, I mean, I don't miss working till 2 a.m. every night.
Yeah.
But I miss that grind. There's like a let's go. And
Well, how long did you do that for? How long did you do like?
I think the
that specific grind.
Yeah, definitely the entire time that I worked in Chicago.
Okay.
When I started off at Havas, it was, I was working late hours just to be seen working late hours.
Yeah. And that was like your first.
That was my first like big agency internship, and I was like, yeah. But FCB was hard, in a good way. I look back on it. I mean, I was getting drinks with someone at FCB the other day when we were in Chicago, and I was talking about how that lack of work-life balance, but also the camaraderie amongst the team was so conducive towards, learning some of the basics and like having fun doing it. And it's not to say that doesn't happen. There are so many people working hard all the time at GSD&M, but the actual like, it's just chill when you walk in. Like some agencies you walk in and it smells like chaos and money.
Yeah.
And GSD&M, it's kind of like, you're in Austin. We are going to make great work.
I don't get that though. Like I would imagine because Austin, part of the reason why like the grind is like so like prevalent in New York is because it's expensive.
Yeah.
And you have to make money. You have to get promoted. You have to like win new clients, new business for businesses to stay in here. But I feel like Austin's pretty expensive now.
Yeah.
And like people are shuffling in there. There's been a big migration there. I would imagine like that's starting to trickle over there. I'm sure working in agencies in Austin 20 years ago was a lot chiller. And it's getting a little bit more.
And I also think it just depends on the agency because like I've heard, things are different at Preacher than they probably are at GSD&M.
Smaller, and GSD&M's holding company, right?
Omnicom.
Yeah. Got it.
And then what? Preacher's Stagwell, I think.
Is it? I don't think
could be wrong.
I think it's independent.
Is
I
it
could be wrong
independent?
as
Okay.
well. We'll fact check that. We won't get back to it, but it's definitely a smaller shop.
So I mean, I've heard that it varies a lot agency
Yeah.
to agency. All I can say is that like you walk into GSD&M and we there's just all this stuff on the wall, things that they've done, accounts that we have had, and you're like, wow, this has all of the makings of those agencies that we think of first probably when it comes to like advertising, those Burnett's, those big ones, but it operates in a completely different way. And I think coming off of kind of like the grind culture of New York to that was like, the fuck? But now I really, I'm really enjoying that balance, and I'm just enjoying the team I'm on, which I think.
Yeah, you like your boss.
I love my boss.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't.
When did you move to Austin again?
January.
Okay, so you're going through your first summer.
Yeah.
It's gonna get hot, right?
So everyone makes fun of me because I'll walk to work in the morning, but I get up super early. It's like
what time are you waking up?
I'm like a 5 a.m. guy.
Yeah.
I'm like a get up, get my coffee.
What time do you go to sleep?
Depends. I try and get to sleep by 10.
Yeah, you're 11 o'clock.
Yeah, definitely 11.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I'm the same one.
You got to be a morning person.
You have to be.
But everyone in agencies, they're nighttime people. They're night owls. I don't get it.
You got to be a morning person. You get a nice little workout in, whatever your choice is, and you get into the office early. But then there's so many like happy hours and stuff, and like client like dinners and stuff where you kind of have to be out. But you can go home at 9:30, 10.
They do not do office happy hours at GSD&M like they do at the. I mean, how do I not incriminate myself?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm like trying to think of how I do this without incriminating myself. The happy hours are awesome. They're chill, and people are responsible. I think it's because they're driving to and from work.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
New York, my God. I mean, these
just
happy
stumble
hours
home.
pretty much, or just get like pushed there in like a shopping cart.
Exactly.
I mean, the grind is not just the work, it's the happy hour too. I mean, you put in a day's work, you get out at 7 p.m. and then you go to a bar that's Titanic themed, and you're going to wish you were on that ship. I got stories.
Yeah, man. I'm sure. Well, let's kick it back. So we got a little bit. We know GSD&M. Who's the CCO at GSD&M real quick?
Jay, blanking on his last name.
Okay, we'll get back to that. But then we got to understand your break-in again. This is like my favorite story in hundreds of episodes. I've done like close to 500 now. Still top of mind. So paint us a picture here. Jack Rogosin, where are you when you realize you want to get a job in advertising? What are you thinking? What are you wearing? Are you a fifth grader? Are you like 5 years out of college? What's the situation?
Yeah, I'm well, I don't even know if we touched on this in the first episode, but my mom is a creative director. And so I kind of grew up around advertising. And I wanted nothing to do with it.
Right.
Because I was like, she's working all hours of the day and night. It didn't seem that fruitful. And then freshman year, I'm at DePaul University, which I went to. I never toured the school, just kind of hopped on a plane and was like, yeah, they gave me a lot of financial
You grew up
aid.
in the Bay Area?
Grew up in the Bay Area.
Right, right. So you went to DePaul.
Went to
Which is a
DePaul.
Chicago market, but you didn't. That wasn't a factor
It
necessarily.
wasn't a factor at the time. No, it was just I wanted to get out of California, which now I'm like, I don't know why I wanted to leave so bad.
I don't know either. But you picked DePaul.
And my freshman year in my second quarter there, I took a class called Foundations of Advertising, and I really liked it. I was like, this is so interesting. And I think part of it was just being able to have a little bit more of an understanding of what my mom did, I think was really interesting. But it also kind of brought us closer because we were talking about things, and I was like, oh, like, you know about kind of like the historical side of this because she had been in the industry before. And so my professor takes me aside and says, you should go and compete in this competition, the One Club Creative Boot Camp. It conflicts with the final, but like, go in there and we'll work something out. So I go and I do this One Club Creative Boot Camp. And this is essentially my first time ever getting like a real creative brief. And
Freshman year?
This is freshman year.
That's good that you got that already so early, because people don't even do that until they graduate. They're like, oh, I have to look at a real creative brief and actually create a spec campaign.
Exactly.
Like they don't get that.
Sometimes people will go all 4 years of college without doing it. It's not until they get into a portfolio program or
right.
an
Well,
internship.
then they have to go into a portfolio school, most likely, yeah. Or they have to work really hard on their own post-grad, which is, yeah.
And it's like, those are the experiences you need to see if you actually are probably interested in advertising.
You got to go through the motions, go through one campaign at least. It doesn't have to take a whole year like the NSAC.
Yeah.
I'm calling you guys out. Like, that's why we have the Crowbar Awards every 3 months, new brief. It could be even shorter than 3 months.
Yeah.
It could be like a month. Like, you just work on it and then you try it and you know if you like it or not. So sorry to digress. No. So you do that, one club, you try it, it conflicts with the final, you do it. How was it?
It was incredible. It was... Well, one, it was it's a spec campaign, so it's not a real client, but it was for the Art Institute of Chicago, which is near and dear to my heart to this day. And it was specifically for a really awesome new wing that they were opening for pop art, of which Chicago is now the foremost city in the world for pop art. So it was this really cool thing to work on something that theoretically would get made by the city at some point. Mm-hmm. It did not, in fact, get made. But my group and I did really well, and we placed first in that.
And you were the copywriter, art director, strategist?
I was the copywriter. I think there was another copywriter named Maria.
So you got two copywriters.
That's the cheat code. I mean, come on.
Were you fighting with her? Like,
she was awesome. She went on to work at like Cards Against Humanity. I was like, this woman is so funny.
Wait, that's way better than advertising.
I'm telling you. Hope you're well, Maria.
You're invited on the show.
Yeah.
If you're still working at Cards.
But yeah, it was a really cool experience to feel like, oh, okay, I took something from the classroom, did it in the real world, and you're judged by your peers essentially. In this case, it was mostly people from Burnett, but they would go around and they would kind of push the work along and help you noodle it, and you're just like, wow, this is really exciting. And so I did it again the next year. Mm-hmm. And I should preface, theoretically, at the time, and I don't know if the One Club still does these anymore, but they did these One Club creative boot camps. Mm-hmm. And they were, for me, they were a godsend, because where else am I going to get a brief like this? You're not going to get them in most classes.
Right.
If you win, you get an interview with the sponsoring agency. In this case, it was Burnett. Mm-hmm. And I also don't know if I touched on this in the first time we chatted, but I wore a suit to this.
Hell yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna go and interview Burnett with a suit, and they looked at me like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's
here?
awesome. But it's endearing, right? Like,
yeah, is it?
Like, you don't it shows that you care. Like, obviously, maybe you're inexperienced in this industry.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of endearing. If you're a freshman, like, they're not giving you a job offer.
No, they're not.
They're just like getting to know you. Like, we have to do this. I forgot that we signed up to it. My executive assistant put this on my calendar, and now I have to talk to this random kid.
Exactly.
And he's got a suit on. It's kind of funny, actually. I want to see poke this kid around, see if he's funny or not.
I'm telling you, they rescheduled the meeting. It was just like a fumble. It was just everything about it that could have went wrong did, and they were very transparent with me. They're like, look, you're 18 years old. We're not going to give you an internship. And you're like, okay, bet. Mm-hmm. Finish up that year at DePaul, and it just financially wasn't making sense for me anymore. They were generous with financial aid, but simply put, it wasn't enough for me to think that, going through and getting my degree was going to be fruitful to what I wanted to, to go into debt for, really. So I ended up dropping out. My mom was like, you can, if you want to drop out, that's your prerogative. But if you come back home, you're paying rent. And I was like, okay, tough love. That's fine. Not going to go home. Stayed in Chicago. And my best friend there got me a job at the shoe store.
This is it. I remember this for sure. And where was the shoe store?
1643 West Howard. So it's actually the far north side of Chicago.
Okay.
And it's just this stretch. I mean, you can Google it. There's nowhere like it.
Yeah.
So Rogers Park, really interesting neighborhood. This particular stretch has, faced a lot of issues.
I'm sure it's fantastic now since all these years, like gentrified like crazy. But painting the picture is like tough. It was a tough neighborhood.
It was
tough area on that stretch.
Rogers Park, pretty much fine. This one stretch, even to this day, like they called me the other day and they like FaceTime me on Saturday, like, what are you doing right now? I was like, what are you doing? And then they'll send me a video of like a fight that had, just broken out at the shoe store, and you're like, I don't know if I missed this part of it.
Fights. I remember
windows get shot out.
Windows shot out. You saw somebody overdose. Is that correct?
We saw a bunch of people overdose. Used Narcan.
Yeah.
That was right next door to the store.
Right. Yeah. In the area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're working there just to like pay rent now. Like you're staying in Chicago.
Staying in Chicago. You're
not going to school anymore.
Nope.
But you have a couple briefs under your belt from the one club boot camps, which everybody can do the Crowbar Awards now instead of that.
Yeah. Do the Crowbar.
Yeah.
I like it much more. I highly recommend it.
Thank you, sir.
Full endorsement.
Clipped. So you're doing what's going on in your brain now that you made this transition? Like, are you freaking out? Do you have a game plan? What's going on in your brain here?
Yeah, I mean, the short answer was I was just frustrated. I was like, okay, I'm not in a place financially to put myself through school. I have this thing that I like doing that I feel kind of good at because, I've won this award, I won first place in this thing, but I don't have the connections. Surely don't have the portfolio, and I don't necessarily have the means to improve myself and my skill set. So I was just frustrated, and I would go to the library, like literally the Chicago Public Library, and like read Adweek, and then go and switch to the next computer when they're like, you've allotted your 3 free articles, and next one over. This was pre breaking and entering, giving you a nice synopsis of everything that's happening in the world. So you had to do it the old fashioned way.
Yeah.
Which you young guys don't appreciate.
That's right.
It was hard out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had won these a couple of, and so I competed the next year, came in first again, competed the year after that, came in third at these boot camps. So I'm building my portfolio, but I'm still working at this shoe store. And I felt like I've done all these things that are getting recognized by peers in my industry, but something about the way I'm packaging it or my qualifications on paper, not having a college degree, not going to portfolio school was preventing me from being taken more seriously. And I watched my peers, people that I knew from the classroom, people that I just met by networking, and people that I just knew that ended up in advertising. They were going on to work at these places that I thought I could work at. Places like Burnett and DDB and Ogilvy and We Are Unlimited when that was around.
Yeah.
RIP.
Yeah.
And I just was frustrated. So it kind of came to a head when I watched some of my friends go on to work at Burnett. And I said, fuck this. I want to do something that's going to get me some attention, get me some buzz, show people that what I lack in those formal qualifications I can make up for in a different way. So I set out to make this campaign called The Stranded Intern. And it was really all about this idea, this insight that I think rings true today for a lot of people, which is no matter where you're at in your career, whether you are an intern or a CCO, you've probably felt stuck at some point. Mm-hmm. And that's a real feeling. And how do we make that feeling, resonate with people? And so that's where we got The Stranded Intern. So I wrote this idea of rebranding myself as the Stranded Intern. And I made this video of this bottle rolling through the streets of Chicago. And I put it, on Instagram. It had its own Instagram. And on the feed were all these different static posts that had somewhat witty copy, which if I look back now probably wouldn't be witty or good or anything like that.
Yeah,
But at the
you gotta
time I
start
was
somewhere,
like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, this is great. And I sent my resume in a bottle to a bunch of agencies, and Havas reached out to me 2 days later. This woman, Jordan Parisi, who I don't actually know where Jordan's at, but Jordan called me and still working at the shoe store and said like, hey, we'd love to have you come and intern for us this upcoming winter. Do you think you'll be able to start in January?
Is that when they did the winter internships? The winter,
Yep.
They used to do. Yeah, those were pretty badass.
They were
Like,
cool.
I remember I was in school around that time, and they were promoting those. It was like a boxing thing or an election, and like you had to make a video.
I worked on the election one. We made the election one, but
Yeah.
me and Lane Hedler and
Man.
Yevon. Yeah,
So that was 36 East Grand.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
we both
RIP.
worked in there. Yeah, we
Yeah.
both worked there. We'll get into that. So she calls you up and she says, what? Like, we saw it. We like it. We want you in.
Yeah, and I was like, got to the end of the call and I was like, you guys know I don't have a degree, right? And they're like, oh, we don't care about that.
Not at all, especially at that time.
Yeah.
Was the CCO JP?
No, he had just been ousted.
Okay. Who was the CCO? Was
They didn't have one yet. After I had been there a few months or weeks, it was John Norman.
John Norman. Yeah.
Who came over from, I think he was at Martin or Taxi or something.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, especially at that time, like it was kind of like the punk agency.
Oh, yeah.
Like anti-establishment.
Yeah.
Like they probably did not care at all.
No.
And I think that it should ring true. I don't know where it's at today, but I know a lot of people have degrees, but if you have the work, you do something clever and you're talented, you should be able to break in this industry.
100%.
I don't know if that still rings true, but that's so incredible. So then they offered you the winter internship.
Did the winter internship. I met my art director partner there, who I no longer work with, but talk to quite frequently.
Who is that?
Yevon Lee.
Okay.
Still the best art director on the planet. She is so talented.
Nice.
And she's at the kitchen, so Kraft Heinz
Okay,
internal agency.
She made the jump. That's
Yeah.
smart.
And
Get
she's
out
just
of there.
racking up awards.
Really?
Oh yeah, you got to have her on. She's so funny.
The
We're
kitchen's
very
interesting. Todd Kaplan is the CMO of Kraft Heinz right now, and Tom Evans runs the kitchen. We want to get Tom Evans on for sure. So that's a whole interesting gig there.
I love what they're doing.
In-house.
It's I feel like they
Did you
kind
see
of
the
do
Oscar Mobile race? Did
I
you see
saw
that?
that,
The weenie race.
That was sick.
The weenie 500 was so funny.
I'm going back to the mustard.
That wasn't the kitchen. They corrected us.
Oh,
That was actually Johannes Leonardo. My bad.
They do have the Oscar Mayer portfolio over there at JL.
They do the.
No, I'm asking.
Oh, I mean, all I know is they did the weenie 500.
got it.
So I'm assuming they got a piece of Oscar Mayer for sure.
I know they do those cool Velveeta ads. I always like those.
Yeah, I haven't seen those.
Good.
Okay,
You'll like it.
I'll check it out.
Okay.
I guess I like ads. Dude, so you broke in. You didn't have a college degree. You kept on doing those portfolio showcases, and you started winning them. Doesn't even matter if you win them, as long as the work's good. And even if the work is good, like with the Crowbar Awards or the one show, my takeaway here is make sure you're going back to it and crafting it, because you don't know who the competition is. 100%. You might have won, but it still could be pretty shit. Yeah. Just focus on the work. Get 4 or 5 campaigns that are really good. I've heard a recruiter say 3 is enough. I don't think that's safe enough. How many did you have when you were breaking in, like portfolio wise, when Havas called you up?
That's a good question. I honestly don't remember. It was probably between 3 and 6.
3 and
but they
6,
were like
yeah.
screen grabs of like Google Slides things,
that's
and
tough.
like they were not. This was not a professional portfolio. This was not a portfolio that deserved to be taken seriously in hindsight.
But you did something interesting.
Demonstrated a certain level of understanding the pieces of a campaign, how an insight can inform a big idea.
Mm-hmm.
But also I think it's just, this is an industry about disruption. And do I think that like anyone loses sleep thinking like, oh my God, like that guy sent a bottle with his resume? No. Do I think that it stood out from other people that applied to internships at Havas over that same period? Probably.
Absolutely. And like the topic of this, I remember when the High Dive intern requested $50,000 on Venmo. That was a big one, and I think they hired him as an intern.
That's sick.
That was a good one. I think there's like little stunts, like somebody showed up to Lerma in Dallas that I heard with like a big tarp and like played the guitar. all that's great. I think as long as you have some understanding of the work as well, you do an interesting stunt, like you sell cookies to get to Cannes, like Andy Pearson did. You still have to have some fundamental understanding of your position. Like if I were to come to you after a stunt and say, my name is Gino Schellenberg, I can do all sorts of creative stuff. You're like, well, are you an art director or copywriter? I'd be like, I don't know, probably both. Yeah. Like, then you're probably not going to get hired most likely from a decent agency unless they're like different thinking. So you have to have those fundamentals still. Know what's going on, know what agencies you like, know what role you want to be, know what your taste is. I think those fundamentals play as well.
100%. I think people just, you should be, I think that range, like having a creative range is awesome. But I think when people are hiring for junior roles, they're just looking for one thing that like jumps out to them. My absolute favorite piece of student work was from a guest that was on your show right before me or right after. Tim
Plumke?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was and he did the it was
fishing rod
it was the fishing rod. It was for a sensitive rod, and it was like tweets from the perspective of this. All he did was write great tweets that were funny and put them in there. It wasn't like he didn't comp it up. I mean, he was comp, but he's not doing anything like that crazy. He's saying, look, I can write. Yeah. Here's something that fishermen want. They want a sensitive fishing pole so that they can feel the difference between bites, whatever, that insight is. Here's how we bring that to life in the most creative way.
Yep. And you just, I guess you don't know what will be a home run. And that's why we preach to have like a couple shots on goal, a couple different campaigns for people out there, because you don't know what's going to stick or what they're looking for at the time. The agency might be working on a specific client and wants to see a specific style. You're kind of shooting your that range out to the world, and you don't know what's going to hit. So I think that's all great too. So you broke in, and we can start to understand now from that internship, how did you transfer and how did those skills like translate? Was it a rude awakening? Did they teach you a lot? Talk about that, and how did you get your first job full time?
Yeah, I mean, my partner and I got extended after the internship at Havas. We were working on Moen and Mike's Hard Lemonade and some other stuff, but there was an opening on Cracker Barrel for a writer. Oh, yeah. So they extended us a bit. I'm trying to remember exactly how things went down, but the long or the short was they could keep extending us freelance, or we could go and just see what else was out there. So we started, both Yevon independent of one another and together interviewing at places. I almost went to DDB, but then what it really came down to was I applied to Vayner I think it was someone else's recommendation, and I applied to FCB. And we interviewed at both of them as partners, and we got job offers at both of them.
Get this, Jack. I think I remember this correctly. Did Gary call you?
Gary called us at like 6, 7 in the fucking morning. I think it was like 6. He was in London. And because basically we had turned them down. We said, hey, thank you so much for this opportunity. Mind you, this is like 2019. So like Gary was big, but Gary wasn't like, the same guy screaming in your phone that he is today big. It's just, at scale. And he calls us up, and I had seen Gary's content for like a long time, but he
wait, say what he said, and then Jack's gonna come in and do his impression.
Oh, do you have a Gary impression? Oh, you gotta hit me with it.
Yeah, what did he say?
Well, he called me in there and he said, if you guys go and take this offer at FCB, it's gonna be the worst decision you could ever make.
Like, if you guys fucking take this offer, it's gonna be the worst fucking decision you ever made.
Wow, that's pretty fucking accurate. And I like the guy, but my God, that is...
He's good. Jack is really good at that.
I'm really good.
You guys got to get him on here. You got to sit down with Gary. Yeah. Gary put some guy that... there was another guy on TikTok that was doing... He put
him on stage with him.
Yeah, he brought him on stage. Like, Gary will lean into that shit.
So you got these offers, and he calls you up, and what do you say to Gary?
We're just like, oh, this is in Chicago, and this is FCB. We think we can learn a lot of like the fundamentals of like from a more traditional agency,
which is a fair point.
Yeah, I don't know if it worked with him. He didn't seem very receptive to that.
Care. He doesn't care about that.
No, not interested in that.
His vision, his way.
Gary knows exactly what he's trying to build. And I think that FCB is almost in some ways the antithesis of that.
Right.
So yeah, we went there, and But we maintained good relationships. Everyone was really professional about it. I mean, Erica Colon, who was the creative recruiter there at the time, she was super nice. Gave me a tour of the agency, months, years later, whatever it was.
Nobody's going away. Like, for the most part, you're going to be staying in agency life. You're going to be staying in advertising adjacent. People come around. People move around. So you could have said F off to Gary. Like, don't ever call me again.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a bad move. Nobody would ever do that. But you're going to probably cross paths again.
Exactly. And they were so. I went back to work at Vayner later. So I think it was kind of full circle. I never actually brought up to Gary like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but you called me a few years ago, because I was like, oh, that'd be really fucking weird. But
Yeah, you can't do that. But
yeah, so we went to FCB, and it was a rude awakening, because when you're an intern, and especially when you haven't gone through portfolio school and things like that, you're learning on the job, which I think is great, because I'd rather learn on someone else's dime than my own.
for sure.
But I think I still, even to this day, there's a gap between me and like other writers of like, I can tell when they've gotten their reps in, or there's just a different kind of a way that portfolio school students write specifically. And so I think there's always going to be part of me that kind of wishes I did that, so I could have learned those things.
Yeah.
But I think it also works out.
Right. It's your way. So you got that. So you got an FCB, and it all worked out. You started working hard on the job. You kind of had to catch up a little bit maybe, but then you also develop your own tone, your own taste, your own style. And today, we'll fast forward now. Today you're at GSD&M. You live in Austin, and you frequent New York a lot to visit your girlfriend.
Yeah.
This is incredible. So final thing here now, looking back at all this, and you ended up getting your degree.
No.
Oh, I thought
went
you did.
back. I went back
when we were
but then
talking.
When I went back, I was like, okay, cool. So I go to Columbia,
Yeah.
and then everything picked up with work, and I was like, I can't balance these things.
You were at Columbia?
Yeah.
Like the Ivy
Like
League?
the one here. I had good grades.
I don't believe that.
I had 1B when I was at DePaul. Creativity and advertising.
Of course. That makes sense.
Mike something. He teaches at TSU now.
Really?
Mike Devlin.
Texas State University?
Yeah. Right in San Marcos. I'm going to pull up on this
Because
guy.
that's what Mo Saeed said on this show. He got bad grades in advertising classes because he cared too much, and he tried really hard, or I don't know, he just couldn't see. It just didn't work out because he
Wait,
really.
who said that?
Mo Saeed,
Oh,
Mojo Supermarket.
yeah.
He was at Michigan State. He faked his grades, his transcript to get into to Michigan State, and then he did well in all these classes except for advertising.
Interesting. And his was just like, see, my problem wasn't caring too much. That was not, I just had a little tiff with this woman we worked with. It was a group project. They can bring you down.
Oh yeah, it's definitely group projects, and that's all it is, and that makes sense. So you got good grades, so then you went back to Columbia.
And then pause that again. It might still finish. Who knows?
Yeah, how many credits you got left? 100?
No. Less than that. Less than 100.
Okay. Well, that's
I think
cool.
you only need 98 to graduate.
Listen, you got to know at least you got to know what credits you're at in order to graduate. So that's my little.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but who cares?
I don't know. I kind of want it for my mom now. Now I'm like, oh, do I want this? Get the degree, make her happy.
What about you? What about you?
I'm really happy. I'm a happy guy.
You just had the best birthday party ever. You had 30. You said you had 30 friends show up to your birthday party at your age. That's very impressive.
Thank you.
Because I have no friends and I'm younger.
Well, you should have come, guys. I feel like Jack would be fun at the bar.
Jack is great at the bar.
Yeah, he's got that energy.
Yeah, he's good.
I'm just saying. You could have tried to come. We're friends on LinkedIn. You could have.
I would love to.
Okay.
I would love
Are you going out tonight?
Oh God, no. I'm recovering. I'm a wounded man. I am not the same.
Jack, how can people reach out to you if they want to get a drink with you?
Who?
Or, I'm sorry, if they want to connect with you about getting a job.
No. I like a drink better. Much better to network over a beer. Hit me up on LinkedIn. I feel like I still feel
you're
like that's
good on
the
LinkedIn.
best. I'm quick.
He's good.
Pretty quick at responding until I'm not. But no, I mean, yeah.
You were good with me. Well, I got a podcast. But if you offer value, I'll buy you a beer, you'll probably respond a lot faster. That's a good little tip there.
I'll buy the beers. Just show up and be present, because you know how expensive that is. I think we talked about this on my first one. It's like you think you're just gonna go out and grab some coffee, and then you're paying $2.90 each way on the subway in New York. A coffee is like $85 now here.
Dude, you can do it virtually. That's a little.
That's
It's
that's a hack.
make it 15 minutes too, because it's hard.
It is.
And then you check out their portfolio later. It's a lot of time to do that stuff.
100%, but it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack, thank you so much. This is the first time we've ever had a guest come on for a second time, re-share the story. And I'm excited to keep on watching you go and grow, brother.
Hell yeah. Thanks for having me.
Boom.